Okay guys, I'm just going to show you a video of my thoughts really on the iPhone 4. I don't go into too much about the dimensions of the phone, the thickness, thinness, all that type of stuff. It's already out there, it's on the website, you can have a look at that. These are just my thoughts on specific features that the iPhone 4 has got. But one thing I do want to say, I made a video yesterday about WWDC 2010 and what I thought was going to happen at it. One of the things I said on the video was I was really curious to see how Steve Jobs was going to introduce the iPhone, given all the stuff that has happened with Gizmodo. And I would just like to reflect on that, and I think that Steve Jobs handled the situation incredibly well. He came on, when the image of the iPhone came up on the screen, he turned around to the crowd and said, "Well, stop me if you've seen this." And everybody started laughing, and I thought it was really, really well handled by Steve Jobs. There was a couple of other incidences throughout the keynote, and actually, to be fair, I think this keynote, out of all the keynotes that I've seen, going back even over older keynotes, I think Steve Jobs came across not only as professional as he always does, but really, really human and in touch with what's going on within the community, the Apple community, and what have you. There was an incident where he wasn't able to show the features of the phone going online. There was an error message. It turned out quite a bit later on, it turned out that the reason why that was the case was that there was over something like 530 Wi-Fi signals being sent out from the actual auditorium where they were. Now, this morning there's quite a lot of newspapers have picked up on that, and that's the headline, that Steve Jobs' flaws and stuff like that there. And I just think, it's sad, but it's it's the society we live in. Everybody's just waiting for Steve Jobs to fall on his ass, and that wasn't the case. He handled the situation incredibly well. Moved on from it and actually turned it into quite a funny situation. So here's my video on my thoughts on the iPhone 4, and see you all later, guys. Okay, good morning, guys. Today is Tuesday, the 8th of June. Yesterday, as most of you, I'm sure all of you already know, it was WWDC 2010, and Steve Jobs got up on the stage and announced the new iPhone 4. I'm not going to go through all the different I'm not going to give you like a list of all the different things that the phone has and all the dimensions and all the rest of it, because that's already on the Apple website, and I'm sure hundreds of people have already put up videos of all that stuff. I'm going to talk about some of the key features that I think is going to be really beneficial to us as the users, and what I personally think of the iPhone 4. Things are moving very, very quickly in the world of technology, which I suppose as consumers we expect things to get better, to enable us to do things better and quicker in our daily life. Now, the thing about that is Apple as a company are going to be producing more products more frequently than, say, most companies. And the reason why I say that is because Apple, they're in the computer market, they're in the software market for computers, they're in the music market as far as the iPods are concerned, they're in the iPhone stroke mobile devices market, and then they've created a whole new market for the iPad, which I'm sure a lot of you will disagree with me on that, saying that it's a new market. Probably, I'm sure a lot of you will just stick it in the same market as netbooks, or maybe the same market as ordinary tablet or e-readers or something like that. But I personally think that the iPad is in a league of its own. So there's a lot of different markets that Apple have got to please, and they've got to please them frequently. And as Apple users, it can either be a good thing or a bad thing. Good thing because we love the products that Apple make. Bad thing because it's going to hit us in the pocket. Which brings me on to the next thing I want to ask. Do you, as a consumer, as an individual, do you feel the pressure to go out and buy these things, or are you quite happy getting by with what gets you by? So in other words, the current phone that you have now, is that going to be okay for you? The reason why I say that is only 2.5 weeks ago, the iPad was given to us here in the UK. Now I know it was announced a couple of months ago, and America got it a couple of months ago, but we here in the UK, we only got it two odd weeks ago. And in that space of time, the iPhone 4 has now come out. So the iPad was given to us about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, and now it's already old news. It's obsolete, it's immaterial, it doesn't matter. In terms of the press coverage and the news and, you know, people like us making videos and all the rest of it, the iPad's been done, dusted, gone. And look at the technology that's in that thing. I mean, like, it's amazing. But now it's all about the iPhone 4. And I personally am one of these types of people who don't necessarily need the technology, but would love to go out and get it. And this time around, I think I'm going to have to, as much as it's going to completely destroy me to say this, I think I'm going to have to give the iPhone 4 a skip, at least until, I don't know, coming close to Christmas or the back end of the summer. And purely and simply because I've just spent £600 on an iPad, and I say £600 including accessories and apps and what have you. So that's the first thing that I wanted to say. A couple of days ago, Brandon Minimum and Soldier Knows Best, they've done videos of the new HTC Evo 4G and all the specifications that it had and all the different things it can do. Brandon on his pocketnow.com video done an example where he was doing a video call with somebody else. Now, at that particular time, I thought to myself, you know, the gap now between the iPhone 3GS and the HTC Evo, it is quite large. And obviously we were on the eve, when I watched that, we were on the eve of the iPhone 4G, which is now the iPhone 4. And I thought to myself, you know, hopefully this iPhone 4 is going to, if not close that gap, but you know, take over it. And in my personal opinion, I think the iPhone 4 has taken over the HTC Evo by quite a considerable amount. Now I'm sure people will be able to come forward and say that there's certain aspects of the HTC Evo that they think is better than the iPhone 4, and therefore for them it's a better phone. So I suppose it's you know, each to their own. Right, okay, so let's get on to the features. First of all, the iPhone 4, for me, the first feature to talk about is FaceTime, which is kind of the video conferencing idea behind the iPhone 4. Now, we already knew what that was all about. Apple are saying that when you lift this phone right out of the box, you're going to be able to do make a video call. However, it's only iPhone 4 to iPhone 4, and it's over Wi-Fi. Now, I wonder if that's going to change. I wonder, will you be able to make like a video call to, say, somebody who owns an HTC Evo in time? And obviously with the networks, I know AT&T are causing a lot of problems in America, but I wonder how that's going to pan out in maybe the next year or so. But the demonstration of the FaceTime was really, really good. Now, the next thing that they talked about, which, while I was listening to the keynote, it was through Twit TV, and they were getting live feeds every now and again from it, and it was only audio, and sometimes photographs were coming through. After the keynote, they got a lot of on-the-spot calls from people who were at the keynote, giving them their quick rundowns and opinions of what the phone was like and all the rest of it. And the overwhelming comments that came back to them was the screen, the clarity of the screen, the colours, the vibrance of the screen. People were saying, you know, this screen looks like nothing we've ever seen before, which is really good. Now, Steve Jobs came up and he talked about Retina display. He gave off some scientific numbers saying that the pixel per inch is 326, and something to do with the human eye is only able to it's something, I know I'm getting this wrong because I didn't research this bit, but it's something to do with the human eye can see 300, whereas on the phone it's 326 pixels per inch. The screen is LED backlit. It's also made of like a glass material, which the other phones are, but this glass material is kind of like a reinforced material. In the past with the iPhones, a lot of people have ended up getting scratches and what have you on their phones, and Apple are trying to eradicate this from it. The screen also has the same technology inside it that the new cinema displays have and that the iPad has in terms of the viewing angle. So whenever you're holding it up to watch it, you don't have to be sat right facing it. People at the side of you are going to be able to still get a pretty good view of this device. Now, the next thing is that they talked about, or that I have listed here, is multitasking. Now, I know multitasking is quite late. You know, a lot of people wanted it on the iPhone, but it's quite a late feature in terms of phones, but nevertheless it's here. Things like listening to music while checking emails, or when you're following your GPS and stuff like that there, you're still going to be able to listen to music and stuff. So that's obviously a feature that a lot of people have wanted. Now the video recording capability on this thing is going to be HD quality, which is going to be tremendous, because the HD video quality that they're going to be getting in conjunction, going hand in hand with the screen, is only going to make a superb experience. And to enhance that superb experience even more, they've brought out iMovie for that. So not only are you going to be able to take great videos, but you're going to be able to see them well on the iPhone, and well enough on the iPhone to be able to edit them on a proper video editing suite. They showed the iMovie suite, and obviously on the keynote that's running now they showed it, and you know, this is pretty much just like the iMovie that we use on our desktop and our laptop. Obviously a cut down version, but you still get the themes. I mean, it looks absolutely fantastic. The price that they're quoting for this app whenever it comes out is $4.99. Obviously there's two cameras on the phone. The back camera is the HD quality camera. The front camera is VGA quality. In terms of the video calling, you can do it on either one of these cameras, from what I'm led to believe. I could be wrong on that, but I think I'm right. When you take your video and you edit it, then you're going to be able to have a feature to put it straight up onto YouTube, or you know, through MMS or MobileMe, anything like that. So you know, you can take your video anywhere and send it anywhere once it's been done. And then the camera is, you know, going back into the camera side of it as well. It's a 5 megapixel camera with 5x zoom. It's got a built-in LED flash, autofocus, those types of things. Now, I know there's still phones out there that have got slightly bigger pixels on their camera functions, but you know, I think for a phone, a 5 megapixel camera with 5x digital zoom is tremendous, and I think it's going to be a great hit. You know, being able to take really super quality photos and video and be able to edit them all right there on your phone and send them off wherever you want to send them, I think is just tremendous. Another thing that they have brought out is folders. Now that's where you're able to basically create your own folders and categorize your apps, like your game apps, stick them into one folder, your business apps, stick them into another folder, that type of thing, which is obviously going to create more space for apps. You're not going to be as limited as what we already are. They're bringing iBooks to the iPhone. Now, he mentioned on the keynote that iBooks is going to get a few more features for the iPad, and those features will also be brought into the iPhone iBook app. So I think that's a great thing, because when you take into consideration, you know, the new clarity that this screen is going to bring. I mean, like they showed you on the keynote, you can see the difference. If you go onto the Apple website as well, you can see the difference in text and everything. It's so smooth and clear that having an iBook store, maybe having an iBook store on the iPhone 3GS or the iPhone 3G possibly wouldn't have worked, because of everything being so small and pixelated and what have you. But with this new screen, I think it'll work tremendously, and I'm really looking forward to it. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about in terms of features for the iPhone was a thing that they call gyroscope, you know, along with the accelerometer. Now, you have to really see if you haven't already done so, you have to really see the demonstration that Steve Jobs gave for that. He was given playing Jenga, you know, the game Jenga where you pull the little blocks out and it all falls down. He was playing that game on it, and you know, for me, this feature alone is what I think makes the iPhone 4 step that little bit further than the HTC Evo and cameras that are coming out like it, because this feature is going to completely reinvent how developers, it's going to open up a whole new world for developers and what they can bring forward on their apps, which again, you know, their apps combined with this technology is only going to be a fantastic experience on the iPhone, I personally think, for the future. Now obviously there's a lot more things on the iPhone that you can go off and have a look on the Apple website. They're just the ones that I wanted to talk about quickly, because I'm sure there's thousands and thousands of videos being made now about the iPhone 4. There was a lot of things that people rumoured were going to be talked about at the WWDC which weren't really mentioned. Safari 5 wasn't mentioned until a press release after the event. People were talking about the new Apple TV was going to be discussed at this, that there was going to be a new iPod Touch discussed at it. But then again, if you remember, the first time they brought out the iPhone, it was all about the iPhone, and the iPod Touch kind of just slipped in to the store. There wasn't like much of a big thing made about the iPod Touch from what I can remember. So maybe they will still bring out an iPod Touch, but it's not going to be, the iPhone 4 is the big thing at the minute. Thanks for watching the video. Don't forget, check out my blog on Tech Planet 30. Okay guys, thanks, bye.